with their claim, men would claim the fortunes and lives of others, but the onus of proof is on the claimant, and the taking of an oath is incumbent upon him who denies. A good hadith related by Haqi and others in this form, and part of it is in the two Sahih.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salaam Radio.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon everyone. Welcome once again to the Peterborough Property Guys. Hope you've had a great start to the week so far. You're with myself, Qasafi Sadiq, and the host of the Property Guys, alongside my co-host Adam Cooper. Adam, how are you today, buddy?
I'm good, Qasafi. For a minute there, I thought you were going to promote me, you know. I thought you were going to say I was the host and you were the co-host. I thought, God, that's a good shock, eh?
Tomato, mate.
We're alright.
Same thing, buddy. Hopefully one day we can get you here and you could be the host. The same difference with me and you.
Exactly, mate. But my week's been good. I was going to say weekend. My week's been good, Qasafi. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's been alright, buddy. Kind of a wow. Monday's been so hectic. In fact, it feels like we're already halfway through. That's the kind of week it's been for me.
Yeah, I get that feeling as well.
Not sure about yourself.
Yeah, no, me and my team at the minute, we're doing a 25-bed refurbishment of a big property in Peterborough,
right.
Shared house. You can imagine it's all systems ago. We've got a few more on the go as well. So yeah, it's just crazy. But good.
Wow, busy times.
Yeah, we love a bit of organised chaos, eh?
Brilliant, good stuff, mate. So guys, we're bringing to you on Salaam Radio every Tuesdays at 5 PM, our show, the Peterborough Property Guys. We're now live on Salaam Radio on 106.2 FM. You can listen to us online by visiting salamradio.co.uk or watch the show on our streaming services by searching Salaam Radio on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram or Twitter. If you do prefer mobile, please download the Salaam Radio app through the App Store or Google Play. Salaam Radio is always on air 24/7, 365, uniting all communities. You can watch the repeat of the show if you've missed the live show today by searching us on our streaming services. So guys, today's guest for this week is Sachin Pabari. So Sachin, who's going to be joining us later on the show, has a master's in financial markets and a degree in maths, which led him to be a trader in the financial market. Nothing relevant to property at the moment. His most recent career step, however, is it's been a company called Olivia, which is designed to improve the communication and customer experience between consumer and business. So I bet you're wondering, why is that relevant to property? Well, according to Yomdel, who is a 24/7 call answering service for businesses, 52% of Rightmove email inquiries to agents go ignored, and 1 in 10 calls don't get answered. Astonishing figures from the EA Masters at Yomdel Mystery Shop. So hence why we got Sachin, who's going to be joining us today to discuss with us why people are so time poor and how he has in fact revolutionized communication between consumer and business, i.e. agent and viewer. So we're going to have him on later on. So guys, if you've got any questions for myself or Adam or Sachin when it comes to that particular topic, then do get involved by dialing the studio number on 01733 602 133, or you can text or WhatsApp on 07745 278 978. So today's topics are quite some interesting topics. One being which Peterborough properties are selling the best. Also, Peterborough homeowners have made an annual profit of £7,309 since the millennium. So we are going to be going into more details about those particular topics at a later stage in the show. But as we do it every week with Adam Cooper, who's going to tell you guys why you should tune in Salaam Radio every week on a Tuesday at 5 o'clock to listen to us guys waffle about the Peterborough property market. Adam, alright, mate.
Guys, I like to hope we don't waffle as much as Qasafi thinks, but you know we probably do. But guys, what we bring this show to you for is to round up all the knowledge, you know, all the legislation changes, all the market trend changes, you know, all the rules and regulations, and bring it all into one bite-sized chunk we can listen to on your drive home. You know, because we need to work together as a team. You know, when we're in this game together, we want to increase the standards of the living in Peterborough, but we want to make some money at the same time. So guys, let's join forces. Come to watch Peterborough Property Guys every single week, and you'll keep ahead of the game with us. and together we'll be the people who win in this game. You know, it's ever-changing market. So yeah, guys, we're just bringing you that value all on your drive home.
Awesome. Well, thank you ever so much for that, Adam. So before we go into full details, here are the headlines for today's topic. Fenland Council tracked down and successfully prosecute property boss who used Whittlesey as a dumping ground for illegal fly tipping. New reports show Peterborough renters paying too much for their income on housing. Development for housing is being considered for North Minster multi-storey car park, which is set to be demolished. So that is, in fact, a very hot topic that's been talked about lately, Adam, about the North Minster multi-storey car park, which
I know.
It's
big news, eh?
It is massive news, because I've been listening and watching and reading, in fact, the posts on Facebook, and a lot of people are actually just in uproar.
And they really, I must admit, because I've not seen the post yet, but I imagine it probably has upset a few people.
Yeah, because you know, they feel like they're taking away the commercial side of the city centre and making it into, you know, more into a residential. And a lot of people are tend to say, look, okay, so it's another money making scheme from the council. They're going to convert it into apartments most likely, and they're going to make a whole buck of money from it. What about the homeless people out there who have got nowhere to live? I actually posted yesterday in one of my articles, and I had a response, and the topic was about Peterborough being densely populated, which we discussed last week, and I got a response on Twitter from someone who said, look, I'm disabled, this is my situation, I've got funds, I've got money, however no one's willing to give me a property. So I kind of sympathise, but what we're going to do about those people who are actually in need of property instead of giving it to those working class people?
So, I mean, I don't know about yourself, because I've seen developments in the past with a few sort of specially adapted units for this, normally done by Cross Keys from inexperience. But, I mean, it's going to be an issue again, isn't it? Like we said before, it's a bit like the retirement situation all over again, isn't it?
Yep,
you
absolutely.
Know, it's one of the problems that we know is there, but not enough's getting done about it. You know, and when it going back to the North Minster multi-storey car park, the actual demolition and potential resurrection of apartments there, it's that balancing act, isn't it? I mean, because we're always going about people need more housing, we need more housing to accommodate the people. There's an over demand and a lack of supply. But then there's certain bits like this where, you know, it's going to be mixed emotions, isn't there? You know, because some people are going to go, like, be applauding the council for getting more houses there, getting more residential living opportunities in the centre. But then there's the rest of the locals who may not be so happy with it. But it's where does the council find that land or the opportunities?
Sure.
So it's you know, it's always going to be a constant battle between good and bad, isn't it, on that side of things?
Without putting you on the spot, what's your kind of opinion on that?
So now, I love the market. You know, I love the old school feel of it. I love being able to go in there, you know, and actually speak to real people, because I think in this day and age we lack that so much. You know, with all the online shopping, with everything, like the convenience of everything being on your doorstep. You know, or not even on your doorstep anymore, at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You know, so I love the market for that. But at the same time, I can see the need for the housing, and you know, I bet with planning there, this is my opinion anyway, with multi-storey car park being so high, they're probably going to go a similar height for flats if they go for flats, which means that there's probably a vast amount of flats they're going to be able to fit there.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of people housed, isn't it?
Definitely.
And I've already heard about them potentially moving the market as well, so I don't think they're going to get rid of it. I think they're just going to relocate it to a different area in Peterborough. Which,
right, okay.
if they do that, then I think, you know, we're not too much worse off. I think it's actually probably for the best then, you know, because we're getting killing two birds with one stone, aren't we? We're keeping the market like we want, you know, to keep our local traditions as a Peterborough town, which is great. But we're also addressing the housing issue by putting more flats where something potentially is unsafe now. You know, so we're taking a problem and turning it into a solution. So, you know, I don't think it's such a bad thing as long as they can keep these traditions alive like the market.
I mean, look, we've gone over and over this scenario and this topic where we're lacking houses in Peterborough, not only in Peterborough, in the whole country. So, in my opinion, it's a good thing. But at the same time, we've got an issue with parking. In city centre, you're always going to struggle with parking, and it's kind of like made it a bit worse. Do you not reckon?
It's always going to have a little bit of effect, like, isn't it? But I mean, the good news is, you know, because it's, I believe, because the area of town it is, they'll have to supply, you know, a set amount of parking anyway, because there's certain zones in the city centre.
Okay.
And if you look at the likes of Herod Tower, for example, which is a few streets on from that,
right,
they've got like their own almost like private multi-storey car park, haven't they?
Yeah, precisely.
You know, so I'd imagine that with that being close to the centre, this development will also have to have some form of parking.
Right. Okay.
You know, perhaps some underground parking or something similar, because I do agree, because in that area you would struggle to fit more residential cars, wouldn't you? Because it's not really a residential area as such yet. All the developments we see over there, like you got Tout Hill Place, they've all got their own parking, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
So it's not really affected us or the local residents that much.
Yeah. I can see that aspect to it.
So I think it comes down to responsible planning with these things, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. Well, look, there's no better people in the council to deal with that. So let's leave it in their capable hands and let the people raise their concerns and their issues. Obviously, I assume the council can have a consultation before they do decide to go ahead. It's already kind of, been assumed. So let's see what happens anyway. So guys, if you want to get involved, do tune in to Salaam Radio on Facebook Live. Or you can WhatsApp your thoughts on this matter on 077 45 278 978. So guys, as we mentioned, which Peterborough properties are selling the best is our first topic for today. So Adam, before we do kind of delve into that in more details, what should sellers do first when selling their home?
Well, so now they say moving home, they always say it's one of the most stressful things you can do. Apart from divorce and death and all that sort of stuff, they say moving homes is right up there, one of the most stressful things you can do. So I always say it's something you need to plan and prepare for. You need to sit down, you need to do a bit of market research for yourself, get familiar with how much your house is worth if you've got one to sell. So one, you can prepare when the agents come round. Like we've always said, because there's a few unscrupulous agents out there who will overvalue a property, get it on the market, get it on their books and work it down.
Right.
These guys are serious about moving. They need to do a bit of homework. You need to see out what your property's worth. Be honest with yourself. We all want our homes to be worth the most on the street, but it's not always the case. You've got to look at it realistically. What is it worth? And then from there, what is it you're going to be purchasing onwards? Are you upsizing, downsizing? We all know in the Peterborough market, the higher end of the market tends to move slower. So then you come down to do I put the property on the market first and get an offer before I go looking?
Okay.
Or do I go and try and get an offer secured and then put my house on the market? Right. So it's everyone's torn then, aren't they? So you really need to know your market. You're upsizing. Chances are, you can go out and find one and then put your house on the market if you've got, say, a little 2-bed which will fly, or a 3-bed like we saw last week. On the stats we saw how quickly they sold. But we saw when you get to the 5-6 bedders, they really slow down. So that's your chance to get some really good discounts. And maybe vice versa, you're trying to downsize from a large property into a smaller property, then you're probably going to want to put your property on the market first, because you're probably going to be sitting there for a little while you get the right kind of buyer come to you. So it all depends on your market situation, guys. So just knowing that position will help you massively.
I mean, a lot of sellers encounter this conundrum. Should they market their house before they start looking for a house? So, I mean, which should come first? Should they market their house first, or should they start looking first? Well,
like I said, Qasafi, I think it boils down to what end of the market you're at. Like I say, if you're bought your first home, you're looking to upsize. Normally they're the sort of properties that sell fast in Peterborough. So I'd say jump on that, get looking for what you're after, and get a really good feel for what you're after. And then potentially try and get a good offer secured and get yours on the market with a good agent. With your realistic price that you've done your homework on. Because there's no good, securing a property and putting your house on for 20, 30, 40,000 too much, and it's sitting there. Because one, not only could the agent lose face, you don't want that. It's only a small town, Peter. You don't want people getting the wrong impression.
Yeah.
There's two, you don't want to spend money on that other house and commit to it on, say, searches or any mortgage applications, and then you can't find a buyer in time for yours, and you lose that one because another person comes along who's ready. So I say you got three things. You got to decide, are you upsizing and downsizing? What are the market conditions? What's the health of the market? And what is the pricing expectations? How much of a bargain are you looking to get on your next purchase, and how realistic the price is the one you're trying to sell?
Amazing. Really important information in my opinion. A lot of people don't know the situation and don't know which move to make first. So a lot of time and money could be saved if people kind of think about what steps to take first. So just want to remind the listeners out there, kind of the initial question that was asked or mentioned, in fact, at the beginning of the show. But we want to ask you, what do you guys think about the development for housing being considered for the Northminster multi-storey car park, which is set to be demolished? So we would love to hear your thoughts on this. Obviously, me and Adam both have given our kind of opinion, as you would say, what we feel, is the right or wrong answer. In fact, there is no right or wrong. It's all your personal opinion. So please, we'd love for you guys to join us on Facebook Live. We've already had a couple of people who are tuned in to Facebook Live at the moment. So thank you all for tuning in. We've had a hello from Luke McDonald. So hi Luke, thank you for tuning in. We've got a few of the guys who are tuned in to Facebook Live to get plenty of engagement, which is really good. So thank you very much. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this particular topic. But we're going to go back to our next question. So going back to your answer to your last question, I mean, when it comes to buy-to-let landlords, what's more important? Is it the area they're buying, or is it the price to buy at?
So this is a really interesting question, because I really like this one, because I mean I'm a bit different, I reckon, in this kind of sort of field. So I always say, the property decides the strategy you're going to go for, because in this market, when it's a tough market, especially for buy-to-let landlords, there's a lot of people out there looking, there's a lot of competition, and we've already said it before, it's first-time buyers getting in the mix as well, and like a lot of buy-to-let landlords, I don't want to step on their toes. You'll find a lot of them don't want to, so we go for the slightly bigger stuff, so our strategy's changed.
Right.
So of course every buy-to-let landlord is probably going to go for the best area first. They always say pick the worst house on the best street. That's what they always say, and that's like the idiot-proof method. Right. Because the rest of the houses on that street are gorgeous, and you got one little bad egg. Yeah. That's an easy match, and you can bring that up real quick. But you've got to get creative in this market at the end of the day. So you've got to pick your strategy. Because I wouldn't do, say, a shared HMO house, in a little village like Yaxley or Stanground that's too far out.
Okay.
But yeah, in the P1 in city centre, we'd do that all day long. Yeah, because it's commutes. Yeah. We've got commuters, we've got lots of job opportunities, lots of economies there, lots of their own culture there. Everything's in one place. But at the same time, again, you wouldn't go bombarding a really small little village town with a load of flats. So it's just picking your right thing. Everything's got its price. Every buyer has their price limit, and it really comes down to your strategy. So you really need to focus on, again, like I said, a bit like when you're looking at whether you're going to sell your house first or go out viewing first. What your aim of the game is first, what you're looking to get out of it.
Precisely. I mean, where could people obtain this information or this advice from, if they, if someone's listening right now and thinking, actually, I've got some money, I want to invest it in the right place. Who can give me the right advice to,
I always say, you need to seek out the industry leaders on the thing you want to do.
Okay.
So
how do you do that?
You need to search it up. You need to get recommendations. You need to go online. You need to get on Google. You need to get on Facebook. You need to see who's leading the market in that strategy.
Okay.
So it's like myself. We get a lot of people come to us for shared housing. But under the same sort of breath, I wouldn't be the best person to be asked about single lets. Vice versa. Everyone's got their field of expertise. Just like if I was looking to buy or sell, because I'd come to you. Everyone's got their different expertise. I think it's very important they pick that one, because there's people who are very, very, very good at what they do, but in particular fields. So again, get looking. What is it you're after? You're after a little vanilla buy-to-let, a single family home. You usually want to sit on it long term. Then you need a nice agent who's been around town for a long time, knows these areas well, knows what their renters are looking for. And knows Peterborough well, like the back of their hand. If you're looking for something more specialist, you need to go out and find that. There's quite a few specialist agents in this area now as well, which is really good, because you could even do the likes of service accommodation, which is a property strategy again, property/hospitality, but totally different to your normal buy-to-let. Your normal buy-to-let agent would not be able to handle that. So again, it's finding the experts, track them down, they're out there.
Thank you for that, Adam. Got plenty of guys who are actually tuning into Facebook Live right now. Thank you very much. We've got James Dawson who said, "Hi boys." Hi James, thank you very much for tuning in and watching us. Hope you enjoy the show.
Good old James is always there rooting for us, eh?
Good old James. Yeah, James was our first guest.
He was the original, at
the show, and we are looking forward to get him and Dan again at a later stage, hopefully near to Christmas time. But let's go into more detail. Let's delve in more into which Peterborough properties are selling the best, which was our initial topic. So Adam, fire away, give us some numbers.
So my favourite part, of course, we got to delve right down into the numbers. We got to sit there researching through hours and hours of paperwork to bring this to you. So what I thought, how could we scientifically split the Peterborough housing market into sections So we could really analyse which part of the property market was doing the best, or even the worst in some cases. So I took a decision. The best way was to get them into little fragmented sections, so I could really see it for you and give our viewers the best advice.
I think this is really going to be interesting for investors in particular. I'm sure we're not trying to teach them how to suck eggs, but at the same time, these are actually statistics proven, and research statistics that show what's selling the best.
Exactly. So I separated into price bands on here for us, Qasafi. Each price band's got roughly around about 25% of the property in the Peterborough area available for sale. And then we added up all the sold subject to contract properties as well, to see which sector of the Peterborough property market was performing best, and I've got the results below. I've got nice colourful little charts here, which I know you guys can't see, so I'll read it out to you. So, up to 150,000, properties for sale, there's 393 properties for sale, with 268 of them sold subject to contract at the minute.
Okay, let's compare that to the other.
Compare that to 150 to 210,000 price range. There's 414 properties for sale.
So a bit more.
The highest out of all the categories, with 323 properties at STC, so sold subject to contract, which is amazing.
So that's doing the best so far.
Well, it's got the highest number sold subject to contract.
Yep.
So it's doing really well. But when you compare it to the 150 range again, because they're not a million miles off in terms of the difference, are they? Really?
No, they're not.
The other one's a little bit closer. Then we get into the higher price range of the Peterborough tends, I find anyway, to slow down a little bit, and the figures show this as well. So from 210,000 to 260,000, there's a total of 350 properties for sale at the time of the research, and only 136 of them sold subject to contract.
Wow.
So again, that takes us back to our original discussion about should you list that first or should you buy first. If you're in that price range, clearly you need to get it on the market. You need to find a buyer.
Absolutely.
You go the next level up for 260 above, 260 is quite a low price range when you compare it to national. But Peterborough, again, we're quite a relatively low place to buy a house, so cheap that is. There's 353 properties for sale, and only 124 were sold subject to contract.
Wow.
So it drops massively.
Massively. That's a huge drop. That's 3 times less than between 150 to 210. What does that tell you for our listeners out there?
It tells us we've got specific range in the market, because I feel that are a lot more popular and do a lot better in Peterborough.
Yeah.
Which, if you've been operating the market for a while like we have, you've probably sussed out already. I've always found, as myself, the properties between sort of 100 to 200. So, over the years, it's gone up a little bit as our price have increased, so now it tends to be between 150 and 210. As where the majority of sales are made, so 43.8% of all property in that price range has a buyer and is sold subject to contracted. That just screams how the market moves. And as we go up again higher in the price range, it slows. So it's not unexpected at the upper end of the property market. The top 25% is finding things a little tough compared to the others, because we've always been that kind of market. But remarkably for people landlords, the lower market's actually doing reasonably well, but it's still not at its best. So there's still potential to find some good deals out there. It's all about finding that right motivation in a vendor. Because even though the number of the first-time buyers did increase in 2018, over the levels of 2017, it was low from a starting point, and a large majority of 20 to 30-year-olds, they either don't want to buy or they can't buy the first home. And as we've already established, I think the local council just can't meet the demands of the housing needs.
Sure.
So that's where the buy-to-let landlords come in and really, take the position in the market. Because there's obviously a need for it, and there's obviously a need for us to take up the slack at some points, or certain aspects in the market.
Right. Okay. Well, look, we got a couple of minutes before we get to our break, and let's quickly move on to our next topic, which is Peterborough homeowners have made an annual profit of £7,309 since the millennium. So, what does that mean for Peterborough property market, and how has that been accomplished?
Oh, sorry, because I literally lost my place there. Can we go again?
Yeah, sure. No
sorry,
worries.
too many figures, eh?
Yeah, no worries, mate. Sorry about that. I had to rush you a little bit because we've literally got a couple of minutes before the break, and I want to kind of get a couple of questions in, because we've got Sachin Pabari, who's going to be joining us in the second half of the show. So we've got a whole lot of questions for Sachin in the second half. So
of course, we want to squeeze them in, eh?
Absolutely. So the question was, which is question number 6.
Here we go.
Peterborough homeowners have made an annual profit of £7,309 since the millennium. What does that mean for the Peterborough property market, and how has that been accomplished?
As we go full steam ahead, obviously we're about 3/4 way through 2019 now. Now, it's certain that the Peterborough housing market in 2018 was a little bit more restrained than 2016, 2017. As we've seen, it has continued in 2019. Property ownership is a medium to long-term investment. So, at the end of the day, looking at the long term, the average Peterborough homeowner, having owned their property since the millennium, has seen its value rise by more than 211%.
Wow.
It shows property's a long game, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a get-rich-quick overnight scheme.
Definitely not.
And this is important, though, because as house prices are a national obsession and tied into the healthy UK economy as a whole, we're always interested in what a house is worth. Always. So we need to keep an eye on that as well.
Amazing. Really interesting information. So, going to be going on a break in literally 1 minute. Could we squeeze another question in there, do you reckon?
Yeah, we can get one in there, can't we? So I'm just dropping my headphones.
So, would you be able to explain to our listeners the profits that were made from the different property types in Peterborough?
Certainly. So I've got a few categories here, Qasafi. The average price paid in 2000 in Peterborough for a detached dwelling, a detached home, was $96,429. You compare that now to the average price paid in 2018 in Peterborough, that's a whopping £270,021. That's an average total profit in the last 20 years in Peterborough of £173,592. But when we compare it, I know we're just coming down to the end of the time, Qasafi, but these figures are awesome. When you compare that, the average householder profit per year in Peterborough is £9,644 per year. That equates to an average annual increase.
You're listening to Salaam Radio,
So
and
guys,
it's now time for
and Adam, we will
Azan.
join you back after the break.
This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Sorry, mate, because there's no countdown.
Oh, no, not that end. You killed me on that question. You jumped and I was like, oh, I don't know where we are, man.
Sorry, mate. Do you know what
It's because it all rolled into one, man. It was like, so I'm just looking at it going, where are we at? Like, I thought you were going to roll on, like, talk about thingy, and then I'm like, oh, you're asking me a question?
Mate, just that topic.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
Second topic, properly.
I had like another 4 charts to read.
أشهد أن لا
charts everywhere. I've got charts all over.
إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم بك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك المصير. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
This Azan is sponsored by UK Islamic Mission, serving humanity since 1962.
Broadcasting 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is Salaam Radio.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back to Islam Radio 106.2 FM. You're listening to the Peterborough Property Guys with myself, Qasafi Siddiq, and my co-host Adam Cooper. And we're going to be joining with our guest Sachin Pabari in a short while. I do apologise, I think there was a small little glitch before the break where we forgot to turn the faders down, so I do apologise about that if you guys did tune in and listen to that.
Normally charge extra for the the sneaky bits behind the scenes, eh? That one's for free, guys. You can have that.
Let's just say that was one of our bloopers.
We'll have to go back and watch the recording because after we can save that bit for a few shows along, eh?
Exactly. Shall we go back to some of those questions that...
Yeah, of course. We had so much left on there, didn't we?
We didn't actually finish off. So... Okay, so what I asked before the break was, would you be able to explain to our listeners the profits that were made from the different property types in Peterborough?
Of course, Qasafi. So we went for the detached price, of course. So now, this is going to amaze people. Now, back in 2000, the semi-detached price, the average price paid was only £62,813. You compare that to today's market, well, to last year's 2018, the average price was a whopping £193,966. So there's a difference of £131,153 again. So it's a little bit of a drop from the detached, but it's still a huge increase, you know. That equates to £7,286 per year. So it's actually a higher increase at 11.7% in the price. But now if you bought a terraced house, my God, a terraced house would be £43,137 back in 2000. And nowadays the average is £159,568. So it sounds lower at £116,000 price increase. You know, with the average year on year being £6,468. But that comes to a huge 15.1% return. An increase every year. If you had an apartment, oh my God, you'd be laughing. The apartments are only £29,000 on average. The average price now is about £118,000. Difference of £88,000. So it looks on paper only a small increase of £4,921 per year.
Okay.
However, that comes down to a massive 17% increase.
It's quite good.
It's quite good, huh? When you consider what the banks offer you. You know, just from simply owning a property, even if it wasn't an investment property, as long as you bought one and you didn't pay 118 grand more too much for it at the time, you would have made a lot of money by now. You know, so that's a massive increase. But there's always a caveat here. Always a caveat.
Right.
Because we can't forget there's been just over 60% inflation over those 18 years as well, and which eats into the actual real true spending power of that money. So if we take into account now the inflation since 2000, you know, and I love this sort of topic because I always find people look at the number. They don't count all the outside factors such as inflation. You know, so the true spending power, if you bought detached, you know, the true real profit would have been 105,000. You know, so real annual profit in Peterborough of 5,888 per year. You know, so it's still impressive. You know, but not as high as it looks. But still, it goes to show you just of owning that property, even if you did everything wrong, even with inflation being over 60%, you'd have been up on your money.
Amazing. Well, thank you for answering that question because we were short of time before the break, so that's answered. Now, what we're going to do, guys, we're going to bring you on our guest, as mentioned before, Sachin Pabari. So we're going to be bringing on Sachin in a short while. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Qasafi and Adam.
Hi, Sachin.
How you getting on,
Thank
man?
you very
You
much
good?
for joining us today on Salaam Radio. How are you?
I'm extremely well. Thanks for having me on. And Adam, that is some unbelievable returns. in a short period of time. That is almost 300% return then over that period. So.
That's insane, isn't it? I bet to a trader like yourself as well, that's some incredible numbers, eh?
Yeah, you'd be hard pushed to beat that anywhere else. Yeah, you know, with sort of levels of returns you get from the stock market and bonds, property's definitely been probably the best investment you could have made over the last 15, 20 years. But yeah, very interesting.
We're glad you'll be paying attention, Sachin. So, Sachin,
yeah.
tell us a bit about yourself, first of all.
So, I mean, like right now, I'm a tech founder. I run a company called Olivia, which services estate agents. And what we do is we respond back to inquiries, in particular those ones which are out of hours, on behalf of our clients. And we give our customers the ability to be able to communicate via WhatsApp and SMS, which seems to be a very popular channel for consumers, and also in our personal lives. So that's what I'm currently doing right now, but obviously there's a long sort of backstory to that. But yeah, it's a pretty exciting time.
Brilliant. I mean, look, you've recently discovered this Olivia chat service, which I mentioned to our listeners and viewers earlier on. I mean, your career was quite the contrary, but obviously you took a step by discovering this company, which is designed to improve the communication and customer experience between consumer and business. So our listeners who have watched the show from the beginning are kind of aware of your kind of new venture. Just a quick question. From myself, obviously you recently discovered Olivia Chat Server, which is a 24/7 response service to inquiries. Just share with us your story on how and why you decided to embark on this journey.
Sure. So, I mean, as you briefly mentioned, I was a trader before, and you know, there's a shelf life to working in the city and trading. It's very highly stressful. Probably not too dissimilar to being, you know, a top level estate agent. You know, I'd been doing it. I'm not so young now. I'm 41 years old, and I'd been trading for almost 15 years. And I was a little bit burnt out, to be honest. And the markets, while the property market in Peterborough was accelerating through the roof, some of the financial markets were getting crushed. And it was quite a stressful time, as you can imagine, after the credit crunch.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did while I was sort of back end of my trading career was learning how to code. And I became obsessed with AI, also how algorithms were executing trades on the financial markets, and really started to get into software. And when I took a break from trading, I kind of started to do a bit of consultancy work. One of the firms that I consulted for was a company called Grabfish.com. And when I was working with them, I realized they were spending a lot of time doing low value tasks, communicating with customers, when they could be spending time potentially winning business. And that's kind of where, you know, I felt there was an opportunity to sort of build some automated tools to help respond back to customers. And allow them to focus on, you know, delivering a good customer experience, winning business, and doing all the things that sort of great agents do. So that's where the service came about from. But there was a few learnings which I had in between, which maybe changed the service to what it is now. But kind of that's a bit of the backstory.
Amazing. So tell us a bit about how Olivia actually works and how many kind of industries is it tailored to? Because I know you work with estate agents quite closely, me being one of your customers, of course. But
yes, that's right.
Tell us a bit about how it works for our listeners out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, you inquire into one of the portals which you'll recognise, so Rightmove, Zoopla, or On the Market, into a property that Qasafi may have listed on there. And as soon as you inquire into Rightmove, Zoopla, or On the Market, we'll respond back to that customer via SMS or WhatsApp, and we'll do that with a real person. So what the customer gets is they get an immediate response, which is sort of their number one requirement.
And how soon do they get that response?
Within a couple of minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so within a few minutes of the inquiry, they'll get a response from Olivia Chat Service.
Yeah, they get a response from a real person.
From
So
a real live person. So what if it was 12 o'clock at night on a Saturday night?
Yeah. I mean, you can, try an inquiry into Qasafi, one of Qasafi's properties, and you'll see that one of our Olivia agents will respond back and handle that. I mean, most inquiries tend to drop off after 10:30, but you'll be surprised to know that over 59% of inquiries are done still in the evenings and the weekends, which is typically when a business is closed. So yeah.
I mean, people are so time poor nowadays, aren't they? I mean, if someone's working, a particular shift, and half the people in the UK are asleep. Half the businesses are closed, and all of a sudden they've inquired about not even a property, could be any. Because my next question was, how many different industries do you kind of target?
Well, just to touch on the point beforehand, so people are time poor, but they also have their phone near them. And like you said, very quickly they'll be moving on to another task, whether that's making the kids dinner, going to the gym, maybe going to sleep. But they've always got the phone by them, and you can't call them in the evenings, but you can, and they're very comfortable messaging. So you can send them a message, and you'll get a high engagement rate. So that's why our service works so well. But in terms of, like you said, it can, what we do really can work for any business. So what we're doing is we're going to target mortgage brokers, surveyors, chartered surveyors. We're working with some investment companies at the moment, and even my wife's company that sells cosmetic services and microblading. We handle her inquiries for her through Facebook. So
that's really good.
Yeah, very interesting. So we've now become experts in microblading and brows. Yeah.
All the essential skills in life for a bloke, eh?
There you go, the modern day man.
Exactly.
We have to evolve, don't we?
We must.
So Sachin, moving back to property, this is a recent statistic that I've kind of digged out from one of Chris Watkins' podcast. So 52% of Rightmove email inquiries to agents go ignored, and 1 in 10 calls don't get answered. How can Olivia alleviate this?
So the first thing we do is we make sure, obviously, every inquiry is responded back to with a real person within a couple of minutes. So that means no inquiry gets missed. So that's the first problem we solve. The second thing is, even with the number of inquiries, even if you did respond to all of them, your chances of getting hold of them are roughly 1 in 3. Whereas by using a chat service via SMS or WhatsApp, we have up to a 90% engagement rate.
Brilliant, that's amazing, that is.
Where the typical estate agent may only get in contact with 3 of 10, we'll get in contact with 9 out of 10 immediately, first time.
That's quite impressive.
Some really good numbers.
Really good, that is.
It's three times as many leads you'll get in contact with. So yeah. But it always boils down to what the customer enjoys. And if you look at our feedback, we handle over 10,000 inquiries a month, and on average, at the end of every conversation, we ask for a rating of 1 to 10 on how they found the experience of one of our agents. And currently, we're averaging about 9.1. So the customer values the service, and that's the main thing.
Amazing. That's really, really impressive. That is really, really impressive. For those who don't use Olivia, a chat service or a chat service as such, what advice could you give them to improve their customer service and response rate?
Yeah, so there's a few things I would do. The first thing is I would implement WhatsApp into your business in some way, shape, or form.
WhatsApp.
It's the tool that we use to manage all of our personal relationships, and it makes it easy. You have to spend half as much time to manage twice as many relationships with WhatsApp. So that's probably the first thing I would suggest. The second thing is I would look into creating some good notifications for your business so that everyone is aware when a lead comes in on the right device, so they know that they can, they know that there's an important inquiry that's come in that you have to respond to. Because if you don't know nothing's come in, you simply can't respond. The third thing is I would build some canned responses. So sort of pre-prepared templates that you can sort of send back to customers to save you a little bit of time and make sure that you can get back to people. Because it's so easy to say, oh no, I forgot about getting back to Qasafi, or oh no, I forgot about getting back to Adam, and it slips your mind, and then you get to another task, and you know, and then all of a sudden the customer has a poor experience. So
Awesome, brilliant. Sachin, tell us numbers about Olivia. I mean, how many estate agents are using your service at the moment? How many staff do you have, and how many messages have you delivered to consumers to date?
So right now we actually had our first paying agent last August, which was, you know, feels like only yesterday. Yeah, we had our first paying customer in August last year, and now we're up to 120 branches.
Amazing. Good work.
With over 780 employees that log into our system. And we have processed over 400,000 messages to consumers that are inquiring about property. So yeah, we kind of know this space very, very well.
Fantastic. And in terms of messages kind of delivered, received, give us a number. How busy are you, so our listeners are, you know, for those who are listening are going to listen, you know, because numbers mean everything, don't they?
Yeah. There's a great, I don't know if you ever watched Charlie Brooker's Weekly White, but he does a great spoof satirical video on numbers. Go check it out on YouTube. It's really funny. But yeah, in terms of numbers, you know, there's almost, we're talking about, you know, 3,000 messages a day that go through our system, back and forth. So yeah, it's pretty active, but that's growing at a rate of knots. You know, like a couple of months ago, that was a 1,500 messages in the system every day.
Some really impressive figures.
Yeah,
it's a very clever idea what you brought there to the table. You know,
Thank you, Adam.
It's clever. I love it because it's genius. Because you brought a generation. I bet a lot of employees, a generation sort of similar age to me, who love nothing more than to text or to WhatsApp or to type. And you married it up with a generation who doesn't like to receive phone calls at night. Because I know I'm the same. If I get a call at night past sort of 8, I'm like, oh god, a call at night. But someone texts me or WhatsApp me, I'll reply all day long. So you can just sit there from the comfort of your sofa and do it.
Precisely.
That's it. WhatsApp is kind of, you know, the king of all apps. I think if you ever get a chance to look into WeChat, which is a similar product in China, you'll see that everything is done via WeChat. I mean, ordering cabs, transferring money, paying for your rent.
Wow.
It will be 5 years down the line, WhatsApp will be the same. You'll pretty much do everything via WhatsApp. I mean, you pretty much spend most of your time on there anyway. So.
It's true.
No, absolutely.
I've got it on my laptop, my phones, everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You can actually go to notifications and see what you're using the most. My phone mostly is WhatsApp and Facebook. Hopefully that's not giving too much away, but
posting selfies all day on Facebook, because
selfies all day.
well, the average person logs into or looks at WhatsApp logs into WhatsApp 23 times a day.
Wow.
So you can see there's no other app that has that type of usage, and ultimately they own your relationships. So yeah, like if you can tap into that as a business, you will be streets ahead of your competition. I mean, light years ahead of your competition, because it will take a long while before people cotton on that email is slowly dying in terms of for customers, and WhatsApp's sort of going to be the leading light here.
Sachin, let's talk a bit more about property now. What would you say the biggest challenges for estate agents are in 2019 with the whole Brexit kind of scenario and whatever's happening in Parliament at the moment, going back and forth?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Just from, you know, like a personal perspective, from the agent side, it's like, you know, I think everyone is trying to push their fees up, but in a market which has uncertainty, it's very tough to do that. So, you know, like I can see that being very hard. You know, how to justify. I think that's the biggest challenge. How do you justify a high fee in this market? And then particularly you've got the online agents still around charging cheaper fees. But if you can display like lots of value to your customer, you can give them a great customer experience and turn your service into something they love.
Absolutely.
I believe that they'll pay a premium.
I totally agree with you. Yeah. That kind of resonates well with what Adam's doing. Adam's kind of a luxury room accommodation, you know, to a very high spec, and his rooms fly like hotcakes. what he
And
tells
Adam,
me. Don't know how much
do you
truth that
use
is in
WhatsApp
that,
with
but for what he does, I don't mind living in one of those rooms myself. But yeah, I
Let
totally,
me know, because we've got a few available. We're building some at the
I
minute.
don't mind. I don't mind renting one out, or if you want to give me one day in the house.
We'll give you the penthouse suite, yeah?
But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying there, Sachin, in terms of as long as you can justify, why you charge X amount of money, consumers are willing to pay that. In terms of the property market as a whole, I mean, what do you think the outlook is for this year in particular?
I mean, I think in general, like my view is we're sort of stable, we'll stabilise, and I'm talking sort of mainly about sort of London, South East, and maybe surrounding. But I think we'll stabilise and move gradually back upwards. I think there's always a cap on interest rates where we are now. Like the interest rates in the US are probably likely to go lower, and eventually that sort of tends to have a knock-on effect around the rest of the world. With this much uncertainty, there's still the possibility that we may go lower. So I think that's always good for property markets. And in general, I think everyone has very high confidence in property still as a good investment. So I still think that will always remain. And there'll be like good pockets of areas to invest in outside of London and South East where you can see some really good growth. Peterborough probably being one of them. So
amazing. Well, I'm not sure how much you know about Peterborough. I mean, it is about 45 minutes from King's Cross on train, and obviously you live in.
Property prices have gone up 300% in the time frame that Adam mentioned. So.
If you've got any cash under the mattress, now's the time to invest.
Make sure you give me a call.
I will do. Sorry, first on the list.
So, Sachin, what? Obviously, I know you're not from Peterborough, but what do you know about Peterborough? Have you got any friends, relatives in Peterborough?
I'm actually going to come and visit very shortly. I've been there once previously, but my wife's cousins have had twins, so we're going to come up there shortly.
Oh, brilliant! Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do let us know. We might get you live in the studio, as we couldn't get you live on camera today. So that might be a way for you to make up for it.
I will. I promise. Yeah.
Amazing. Adam, have you got any more questions for Sachin?
No, I'm really interested in Olivia. I've got questions on that for days, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
How much time do we have? That's what it boils down to.
Well, I think what would be a good idea is for you guys to connect at a later stage, because obviously Adam has got his own kind of lettings company, so it'd be really interesting for you to incorporate and test it, see how it works.
Oh, certainly, I'm totally with you guys on this one. Convenience is everything nowadays for customers. At the end of the day, I mean, I know myself, time poor. I'm amount of times I get till after 6 o'clock, and then I've finally got time to chase up all my personal things and go, I missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Adam, do you ever WhatsApp some of your customers or your
WhatsApp's one of my biggest communication tools, because you can send files in it, can't you? So it's like an email, but I can ping it across on my laptop there and then I take my phone with me when I'm not got my laptop, and I've still got the same conversation open.
Yeah. Bet you it makes happy customers.
Exactly. It's all like speed of response, eh?
Yeah.
And what better to have speed of response when you've got WhatsApp but a team managing it behind you as well. So I think it's a brilliant idea.
Thank you, Adam.
Sachin, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us on the show today. It's a shame that we couldn't get you live on Skype on video, but listen to you and your journey on Olivia chat and how it's changed. Because if I could say, I'm actually one of your customers where I use Olivia, and I could say it's an absolutely remarkable tool that you've actually discovered. So a big well done, and it just does make a life so much easy for myself when I've got customers who are making inquiries in the middle of the night, and you've got your team who are in the background dealing with the inquiry, converting the lead, talking about what their requirements are, whether they've got a house they're looking to sell, which helps us in that aspect, and whether they're looking to get a mortgage or any of the service. So it's really a fantastic tailored to an estate agent chat service as well as others. So for those guys who are actually tuning in and you've got businesses of your own, Olivia chat service is something that I would definitely recommend to look into. So Sachin, if you don't mind, we've got a couple of minutes before you wrap the show up. How could our listeners reach you?
So how could they contact me?
Yeah, so how could they contact you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so they can either contact us via our live chat on our website, which is at www.gesolivia.co. There they'll be able to book a demo as well, or you can email me at sachin@gesolivia.co, just .co, not .co.uk.
Amazing.
And appreciate the opportunity for coming on air, Qasafi. And the envelope of cash is on its way to you.
2 envelopes, yeah?
Yeah, Adam. Amazing. Sachin, thank you ever so much, mate. All the very best, and we'll speak to you again in the near future.
Yeah, speak to you soon, guys.
Cheers.
Have a lovely evening. Take care.
Cheers, thank you. Bye.
What a great guest, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, that was Sachin Pabari, who's discovered Olivia chat forum. So, guys, we're going to be wrapping up now. That's the end of the Peterborough Property Guide. Next week, we've got a massive guest, no other than Chris Watkins, who is a property daddy, someone who's invented landlord farming. Adam, tell me a bit about Chris, literally in 10 seconds. I know it's not enough time, but this is all we've got.
My God, Chris, the man and the myth, the legend. If you want to know about how to improve your agency and stand out, Chris is your man. You want to do things differently? You need to watch his content and listen to what he has to say. Honestly, he's really disrupting that market space.
Thank you, Adam. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in today. I do apologise for any glitches that have occurred during the show. If there is anything that you'd like to discuss about the property market, then you can get in touch with us at any time you'd like. So, guys, thank you for joining us today on Salaam Radio. Until next week, same time, same place. For myself and Adam, you were listening to the Peterborough
Property Guys.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.